everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome to Believe in Colts special live stream edition. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Jerraud Powers. And that we're going to get in now to the upcoming game against the Cowboys. This might be the toughest game of the season. I know we played the Eagles, but this Cowboys offense is scary good. They're on a on a tear right now through the NFL, really putting down opponents. Who's the guy over there right now for the Cowboys? Is it Elliott? Is it the other running back? I mean,
Pollard.
Yeah. Is it Pollard? Is it Zeke? I don't know. Both 1 week one guy does really well. The next week the other guy seems to pop off and do some stuff. Who's that main guy over there, do you think, right now?
Oh, I think it's Zeke for sure. Pollard complements Zeke well just because they're two different style running backs. Zeke is downhill. As a defense, it's hard tackling Zeke. Like, you might hit him first quarter, second quarter, but when that third, fourth quarter comes, that's when he's normally busting, 10-yard game, 15-yard game, 20-yard game, just because he's a bigger body. Like, it hurts to hit Zeke. And then, boom, Pollard comes in the game, and he's more shifty, doing different things out of the backfield, more speed, more burst, more agility. So they complement each other well, but if Zeke is not doing what he needs to do downhill as far as just blow after blow, trying to, punish the trenches, soften up the defense a little bit when it comes to that, Pollard wouldn't be as successful as he is. Not saying that he wouldn't have his games to where he go crazy, but if Zeke is not getting, 4 or 5 yards a pop, just downhill runs, the defense is not really worried about that run game. And then when they know you got to pass the ball now, it makes it easy as a coach to call his system.
Okay, and wide receivers over there with a certain Amari Cooper gone. Seems like CD's starting to really pick up, isn't he?
Man, I question that move when they traded or let go, however it happened with Amari, just because, Amari's one of the better receivers in the league, and you just don't let good players go on your roster. But obviously they saw some in CeeDee Lamb last year that was holding them back a little bit, and they, realized that he was ready for that bigger role. And I think he's definitely proved this year that he's wide receiver number one, and he'll be one of the better wide receivers in the league for a long time, along with a lot of these other, great wide receivers that's, 3 years or younger in the league, because it's a lot of them, and they're in that position. It's a talented group. And it's a lot of corners that's coming up in the league that's 3-4 years and younger that's very talented. So I think the league's in good hands, especially, with CeeDee Lamb, one of the leaders of the wide receiver core.
Basketball is back. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. As your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet Online, where the game starts. Absolutely. Now, because I believe it's scheme, obviously, the Colts seem to give up, I think, a league high in opposing quarterback completion percentage right now. And, I mean, they don't give up a crap ton of yards passing, but they give up the underneath stuff. Could that be a problem with the yak yardage that the Cowboys are known for?
Maybe. But when I look at the Cowboys defense, man, they're such a veteran defense right now, in every position from the D-line, linebackers to the secondary, got just key guys, that earned their way and been around for a long time. And it just seems like their style of play is, we might bend in certain situations, but we definitely don't break, and we definitely opportunistic when it comes to trying to get interceptions, strip fumbles, turnovers. So in their defense and their style, it's a lot of eyes that's on the ball. So you're going to give up some underneath stuff, but you don't see as many explosive plays given up by Dallas. Even though it might happen, it's normally either contested, but you just don't see just major busts, MAs, and just people just running scot-free. It's a very disciplined and fast defense.
Oh my gosh, talk about this defense. I mean, the sacks are ridiculous. I mean, Micah Parsons has 12 sacks on the year. DeMarcus Lawrence has 6. Big old Tank still over there producing. And then Doris Armstrong has 8 sacks. That's just, and then Dante Fowler Jr. has 5. These guys are out here just sacking everybody. They got 45 sacks already on the season. What do you do?
You better just do what you do and hope you do it the best that you've ever done it. Because when you got dudes, you just got dudes. And this will be one of those games you're going to have to win your matchup. You can't help everybody. You can't you can't double team everybody. You can't chip everybody. You can't send the running back. You can't slide the protection to this side every time. So it's going to be one of those games to where it's going to become matchup football. And you're going to know easily who's the weak link. You're going to know easily, who's giving up what, or you're going to know easily who's dominating, whether it's somebody on the offensive line that's dominating Michael Parsons, or Michael Parsons dominating somebody on our offensive line.
Well, with the amount of sacks that we had, that we've given up, and then the amount of sacks that the Cowboys are known for getting, they get so much pressure on the quarterback defensively. Man, Matt Ryan, that's going to be a kind of scary. I mean, he can move around in the pocket, but
you have to get the ball out fast.
Yeah,
you have to get the ball out fast, and you're hoping Jeff, with his offensive line expertise. I mean, the last 2 weeks has been some positive. If there's anything positive that we've been seeing that's changed since he's become head coach, has been that offensive line. So you hopefully, off of last night's game and them playing well and them watching the film today and them continuing to build on the success they've had these past couple of weeks, you will hope that, that takes another step, this week. So hopefully Jeff will have some good, he's faced some tough defensive line in his past to where, it's had to be a lot of one-on-one matchups as well. He had Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis in 13 straight training camps, both on either side. They had to figure out how to block them. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have a good game plan for us. So it'll be a good one to kind of keep your eyes on, for this game.
Absolutely. Is there a weakness on this Cowboys D do you think that the Colts should exploit, offensively?
I think whenever you see that you got your one-on-one matchups, you got to take your opportunities. When you look at our wide receivers, we're more bigger bodies, so we got a longer catch radius. When you look at the Cowboys DBs, it's more your shifty type guys that might not be as tall, but, plays the ball well, got great ball skills and all those type things. But when you're talking about 6'4", 6'5" type receivers, you're going to have to give those guys opportunities to use, their God-giving size and strength to try to, not bully, but try to just take advantage of your opportunities. So whenever we see our one-on-one matchups, I think we definitely got to at least give the guys an opportunity to go out there to make plays, because if we don't make the big plays, we're not going to win anyway. So you might as well, take your opportunities and making those.
So last week, in the third quarter, near the end of the third quarter, the Colts were in scoring position inside, I think, the 5-yard line, 6-yard line, and the handoff was misconstrued. We talked about Jonathan Taylor being the fault of that fumble, where he looked like he kind of tried to grab it with his hands rather than let it hit his breadbasket and close around. When you have a superstar, a guy like that, but he starts to show a little bit of fumbling issues, because that would be his 4th turnover, even though that turnover was given to Ryan because he technically was the last person to have possession of the ball. It was on Jonathan Taylor. When he has a fumble or a turnover, a lot of people were talking to me about, you should sit him for a drive. I'm of the feeling if it just happens once, you give the ball right back to him so that he could put that last fumble out of his mind immediately. But what are your thoughts?
Some people got to get out of the little league mindset. Jonathan Taylor is not out there trying to fumble the ball. He works on carrying the ball and doing all that type of stuff. They work on that stuff every week, whether he has a year to where he has no fumbles or a year to where he might have 3 or 4. And a lot of those times, I mean, you got to think, if I hand you the ball, and I'm not saying you specifically, Lawrence, but anybody the ball, and I tell 6, 7 people to get around you and just start raping at the ball, trying to grab it, doing everything you can, 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10, you're going to probably drop the ball. So that's why you're hoping that you get down, or you're hoping the whistle's blown, or anything like that. It's just unfortunate. Jonathan had some situations, like you said, that fumble is just mechanics, just let it get in the bread basket. It wasn't like, a player ripped it out or anything like that. But a couple of his other fumbles, I mean, it's been some guys that's coming in and just hit the ball at the right spot, hit his elbow at the right spot, and then, or maybe 5 or 6 guys are all grabbing at it and pulling fingers and all that, to where you might, drop it at the end of the day. But last night, that fumble between him and Matt Ryan, that's just, a mechanic type thing. And, as a player, he's human as well. He make mistakes as well. But I'm not sitting here thinking that Jonathan Taylor has a problem fumbling the ball, because he hasn't shown this his entire career. Sometimes, it'd be like that sometimes.
Okay. Gardaki's Playground drops in and says, from the way it sounds, that maybe we're misusing Taylor's skill sets. Do you think that there's some plays that we need to be using more to take advantage of the skill sets that Jonathan Taylor has, like more, I don't know, flat out running back screens or something of that nature?
Maybe we can find some different ways to get him the ball. I mean, that's with everything. Everybody has something that, maybe we can do differently to get better at, or find them or put them in better position to, make plays or whatnot. But wasn't nobody complaining last year about Jonathan Taylor. And we're using him the same way. So, it's one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't. I think, what we've been doing is fine how we're using him, because that's his style back. He's a downhill bruiser. And that's what he is. And he's a home run hitter as well. It's just, every week it's not going to go perfect for running backs, all the time. I mean, Derrick Henry played the Cincinnati Bengals last week, and I want to say he only had 40 yards rushing, 30 some yards rushing, and on like 20 carries or something like that. So, I mean, it's tough out there for the best running backs in the league, because you're facing 8, 9-man boxes week in, week out. So if one guy's not doing their job within the trenches from a blocking standpoint, you can be damn Barry Sanders. You're going to get tackled, for tackle for loss or for no gain, so it's a lot that's dependent on being successful from a running back position. I mean, we're lucky enough to have one of the better running backs in the league. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's human too. I mean, he just can't run through 11 professional football players every time that he get it.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you thinking about the Colts secondary? As a former secondary player yourself, the starting guys, what are your thoughts on Brandon Facyson? There's a lot of people out there that think Facyson is not fans, we'll say, that don't like the play that Brandon Fayson's putting out. I think all year I've called Brandon Facyson out on maybe 4 bad plays, and yet I've yelled about a lot more than that on some really good plays just in the last few weeks. What's your thought on Brandon Fayson's play so far this year?
I mean, it might not be like what he wants it to be. I mean, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a problem on defense, or that I'm worried about his playing and all that. These guys are making contested catches. You know what I'm saying? These guys are making some tough catches, and sometimes as a DB, especially with how the game is called today, you can't touch them. You can't do all these things. Like, you almost got to be perfect just to make a play as a DB. Sometimes it just don't go your way all the time. But to sit here and watch the defense as a whole, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a problem or we need to upgrade or we need to do that. These guys have literally, like you said earlier, only given up 27 points 3 times this year. It's been whatever that stat was we was talking about earlier. These guys
more than 20 points.
Yeah, more than 20 points. Yeah, these guys are playing lights out football, as a whole. I mean, it gets hard out there sometimes when you're put in tough situations because of the other side of the ball when you're facing a short field and you're coming out there and you got to stop them and do all this type of stuff. It's pressure out there. But I think as a whole, secondary wise, they're playing the best that they can. Yes, I want to see more interceptions. I want to see more turnovers. I wish that we could get 2 or 3 of them a game from the secondary. But those guys are playing pretty good. I can't complain when the scoring average is what it is from a defensive standpoint.
All right. Last thing we're going to discuss, I think, before we drop our predictions for the early predictions, obviously, for the Cowboys Colts Sunday Night Football. David in here says we need to give Lamar all the money. All the money. All right.
I like it.
My question, do you think he's available this off season, and would you go after Lamar if he was?
I mean, the season's about over. I know he said he wasn't going to do any negotiations during the season, but you would think that the Ravens, like I said, we just talked about how hard it is to hit home at the quarterback position. And you wouldn't think that the Ravens would let a 25-year-old MVP, walk out of that door. But if he was to walk out of that door, coach need to call and give him whatever he needs to get. You got certain pieces that, with his style of play and the system that he would have to, be in to benefit his style with the legs and the throws. You got the running back already in Jonathan Taylor. You got Jelani Woods and some tight ends with these big catch radius. It'll be exciting. It'll be something that I would fully support if the opportunity comes. But I can't see Lamar in any other jersey other than that Raven jersey with that 8 on.
So there's absolutely no worry about a repeat of a Russell Wilson situation with Lamar Jackson.
I don't know if I want to put the Russell Wilson situation. Well, I guess it is kind of comparable. But I think Russ kind of forced his way out with some of the antics that he was doing in Seattle, and Seattle was gladly to let him walk just off of everything that's coming out now with Russ and his aura and the diva-ness and, locker room guys not really, being that type of person. Lamar's different. I mean, he's the heart of that team, the soul of that team, the fan base love him. And don't want to see him walk away. I'm pretty sure he don't want to walk away, but business is business at the end of the day. If he was to walk, I don't think it's because there were any type of friction or where these two parties was ready to just, get rid of each other. I think it'd just be more business wise. And, he didn't like the number that they were offering.
Okay.
That's my opinion though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Now, obviously, Lamar is a special quarterback in the NFL. I believe he's almost impossible to fully defend as a defender, right? Because you got to worry about his arm, then you got to worry about his legs. How long into the future are those legs going to be a major part of his game? That's a question that I have, though. Being that he's 25 right now, is he still going to want to be running like that when he's 29, 30?
Michael Vick was, even though it wasn't at 4.2, it was at 4.4. So you take your poison. Anybody that's just with, if Lamar, the older Lamar gets, obviously the less he's going to want to do that. But at that same token, the older he gets, his slowing down from the legs is still faster than any other quarterback that's going to be in the league, at the end of the day. So I still believe that, for his entire career, he's still going to be able to use his legs until, the day he feels like he want to hang up his cleats. Just because, like I said, at that position, his legs is still going to be a weapon at 34 years old, 35 years old, because it's going to still be faster than any other quarterback defenses are used to, seeing.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the predictions for this Sunday night football game against the Cowboys. I'm going to go first. That way I give you a moment. Look, this will be the second time that I picked against the Colts. I don't see a chance. If the Colts win this game against the Cowboys, I will be utterly shocked. Okay. They need to. But this is a very aggressive defense front seven for the Cowboys. And that's offense, even though the offensive line looked better, the offense still did not look good at all in this game against the Steelers. And this is going to be a problem. I don't know if the Colts haven't been able to really score more than 20 points, but twice this year.
I know. So I was bragging about the defense, but I didn't want to bring up what the offense was.
Yeah. Now, I think our defense will play well enough. I think we give up 24 to 27 maybe to the Cowboys. I mean, they're still a good team. They could even give up 17 against the Cowboys, and we'd still lose this game, I feel. I'm going to go Cowboys 24, the Colts 13.
Okay. The only thing that worries me, well, not the only thing, the biggest thing that worries me about this game is just it being on the road at Dallas. And Dallas got a lot that it's playing for, and they know that they can't slip up and lose this one with how tight their NFC East race is going and positions and, you know, and all those type of things. So I think it's a big game for them. I think the crowd's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. And I think our defense, even though they've been playing well, I think it's going to be too much for them to on the road to, you know, continue that high level. So I'm going to say Cowboys 31. This will be the first time all year we give up 30. So I'm going to say 31, and I'm going to say the Colts 17.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's the first time I picked against the Colts, but I had to this game.
Rodney, if you watch this, you tell the whole team this is the first time that Jerraud has picked against you all year, and see if that I mean, obviously they probably
they're probably gonna win. They're probably gonna go out there and win. Yeah. That's why I'm doing it. I'm hoping that jinx thing.
Yeah, let's do that. It'd be nice to walk into Dallas and come away with the win. I don't see it.
We beat Dallas, and everybody be talking about extending Matt Ryan for next year. So
unless it's Jonathan Taylor for 300 yards on the ground.
That's true.
And 6 touchdowns. You know, Buffalo. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening on your audio podcast. Make sure you smash that like button before you leave if you're watching on YouTube, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. You can check out Jerraud Powers, myself, and Rodney McLeod on the Believe in Colts every week, except Rodney wasn't going to be here this week, obviously, because of the Monday Night Football game. But when he's able to, he's here. And until next time, as usual, for Jerraud Powers and myself, this was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?